produce and more potent. Some researchers are also pursuing temporary vaccines that could offer protection for a month as long-lasting alternatives are developed. As you are aware, one of the pats on the back that Nigeria has received from the World Health Organization in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic is the NCDC's successful sequencing of the strain of the coronavirus that was imported into the country, which makes it easy for candidate vaccines trial for COVID-19. It is against this background that we shall beam our searchlight on Nigeria's research and development capacity in the face of the global scourge. Thanks for joining us on the program. I am Rabi Abdullah. You are watching Health Options, and we are examining Nigeria's research and development capacity in the face of the coronavirus pandemic. I have in the studio to take us through the topic the Director General, National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development, Dr. Obi Adigwe. Thanks for joining us on Health Options, Dr. Adigwe.
It's my pleasure to be here, Rabi.
All right. Every nation is exploring ways of tackling the spread of the coronavirus disease, talking about COVID-19. And in the midst of this, researchers the world over also kept on their toes looking for remedies, particularly vaccines, treatment, and what have you. And coming from NIPRIT, the mandate of research development, knowing NIPRIT to be a center of excellence for phytomedicine and other, scientific analysis. Start by telling us the importance of research and development before we go the whole hub.
Research, which is the ability for an individual or an organization or a system to look inwards and develop innovative solutions to contextual problems it finds around it, is what actually enables that entity to move forward, and adapt to health problems as in this particular context. And so, research generates output, and the output has to be able to impact on the community or the individual or the system that engineered or facilitated that research. That's the development aspect. And more often than not, people want to use research that's carried out in other climes and sort of like copy and paste those research solutions to their own settings. It usually doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Because every nation has its peculiarity.
Absolutely.
Every society does.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that was the thinking behind the establishment of the National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development. Like you rightly said, the institute, the concept of the founding fathers of NIPRIT was that we would look at our rich flora, our rich natural resources, and develop the capacity to use our natural resources to develop solutions like phytomedicines and other raw materials, as well as conventional medicines that can be used to address diseases and healthcare issues that are prevalent in our society. Classical example is the development of Neprisan, which is a phytomedicine that was gotten from natural resources around our environment and is used for sickle cell disease, which is prevalent in this area.
Something is happening now, something that has prompted the world to start scrambling for a solution. I'm talking about the coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah.
have been watching developments in China. In their own treatment regiment, their treatment protocol is something they are doing. They are using orthodox and they are equally using complementary. They are using and it's because they have been able to, develop their homegrown, medicine, so to say. Talking about the trado complementary, they are combining all to tackle or to treat coronavirus disease. Coming back home, are we looking at that direction?
Yes, we are. It's with a great sense of national pride that I want to say, and it's a somber statement that NIPRID has been working round the clock to contribute to addressing the coronavirus issue. I happened to walk past someone's television this morning and I saw pictures on an international news channel of shelves in America being emptied, literally emptied. And I usually don't watch telly that early in the morning, but I hung back and I looked through, and things like this were scarce.
Hand sanitizers
were scarce in America. And what the NIPRID's response to coronavirus has gone across a wide spectrum. So we've used a comprehensive approach to address this coronavirus issue. When on 27th February, the first case landed in Nigeria, myself and my team sat down and said, how can we start to contribute? One of the first things that emerged was a scarcity of hand sanitizers. And incidentally, at a management meeting, top-level meeting of frontline responders at the Ministry of Health, we got the mandate to say, everybody puts, let's see what you can bring to the table. And very quickly, we did a product development in NIPRID of hand sanitizers. I mean, it's not a complex formulation, but NIPRID's product development of hand sanitizers was very symbolic at the time we did it. The Honorable Minister had me present this to him in front of the press, I think about 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And I'm happy to tell you that based on our ability to put this concept together and bring it to the fore, there's been a fourfold increase of people who have similar capacity now wanting to bring their own hand sanitizers to the fore. It may seem like something that's not significant, but I'll give you the statistics. 6 out of 10 Nigerians don't have ready access to water.
Yeah.
The basic way of preventing the spread of coronavirus is washing
hand wash hygiene.
Yes, but if 6 out of 10 Nigerians don't have readily access, what do they need? Hand sanitizers. So our symbolic entry, formulation and presentation let other similar partners and other similar players in the sector know that Nigeria is now using this opportunity to look inward, and it stimulated them into the market. The second thing that we did was we very quickly used our artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities to put together a database, because it's not as if hand sanitizers were not produced in Nigeria prior to coronavirus, but unfortunately, Nigerians have a big appetite for imported products. And despite the fact that close to 20 companies in Nigeria can produce hand sanitizers, you find a preponderance of imported hand sanitizers in the market. And what this does is that it edges out the local manufacturers. And with the entire disruption of the supply chain, all those imported hand sanitizers, they can't even meet the demand in their own countries.
Exactly.
So nobody's going to send to you.
There's global scarcity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what we did was we put together that database and we reached out to all these credible local manufacturers and we told them, government has asked us to engage you and say, can we use your excess capacity? Now, most people may not know this, but a pharmaceutical industry has machines that are tooled to work 3 shifts, right? Most of them do only 1 shift. But in a case like this, which is a national emergency, there is need for them to be able to use up those 3 shifts. And so far, we've identified at least 10 first-class local manufacturers that have now indicated, their willingness to engage. So that's our work on, that's the amount of work, that's the type of work we've done on controlling. Now, as regards treatment, unfortunately, Nigeria...
What's next after what we're seeing now? I'm seeing 2 brands.
You're seeing 2 brands of hand sanitizer.
Yes.
So at the press conference, I presented the wash, but I made it known to the world that we also had the gel. Now, the unique thing about these hand sanitizers is that we've validated the supply chain to make sure that as much as possible, what goes into the production of these hand sanitizers comes from Nigeria. Okay. So as you know, alcohol, which is the major active pharmaceutical ingredient, that's actually what disrupts the envelope of the coronavirus and makes this effective in controlling the spread. Alcohol, which is in this sanitizer, comes from an alcohol manufacturer that has a plant in Kogi State. So he gets his alcohol from cassava in Kogi State. Okay. Now, when I put this, you notice the fragrance. That's eucalyptus oil. Okay. The eucalyptus essential oil that's added to this as a fragrance comes from Kaduna State. Wow. So as much as possible, while we are also contributing to making a product to help with addressing to help address the potential spread of coronavirus, we're also contributing to creating jobs for Nigerians. We're also contributing to ensuring that Nigerians are earning a revenue. We're also contributing to ensuring that there is knowledge transfer, because we're ensuring that we're trying as much as possible to source the raw material.
Okay, so I think the next thing should be mass producing them. Where are we in that regard? You made the global scarcity now.
You made the same suggestion that the Honourable Minister made, and we quite agree with that. But the responsible thing to do is to have it registered with NAFDAC, which we have now engaged with the Director General of that sister agency. So we're now in the process of getting the NAFDAC registration for these 2 variants, and after that, then we can go down the line that you've suggested. Okay,
good one. So it took COVID-19 for us to really...
Well, I don't know. It's sad, but... It's really sad. Myself and my colleagues have been arguing medicine security for close to a decade now. And I feel pained that it takes something like coronavirus to enable us look inwards. It didn't have to. It didn't have to. For decades now, Nigeria has been at the finished pharmaceutical production phase of the manufacturing spectrum, whereas it has had the ability to move to API and original R&D a decade ago. And unless people start to understand the importance, the potential, and the critical nature of this sector, we will not get it right. That's the truth.
And anyway, I'm sure it's a wake-up call for us. Now, nations have to take care of themselves first before even look at the needs of other countries.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm taking you back to the vaccine. That they say China. I know that a lot of Chinese researchers had to move from Europe to go home to really face this issue headlong in trying to come up with a vaccine. And I don't know, how far have they gone? I'm sure you must have been monitoring developments in that regard.
Yes, the information is not very clear at this point in time. There are 2 or 3 candidates that we've heard, there's a candidate we've heard about in Asia, there's a candidate in the Americas, and I think there's one in Europe. But the truth of the matter is, what we need to be focusing on in Nigeria is developing our own capacity.
Okay.
Because a few years ago, we were at the forefront of arguing that Nigeria needs to develop capacity in producing our vaccines locally. And when I was on the other side of the divide in the private sector, I made several pronouncements, including press conferences, insisting that Nigeria needs to take a step forward in that particular line of action. That was when we had the meningitis issue, where Nigeria literally went around the whole world and we couldn't get vaccines. We made press statements when I was with the Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Group, and thankfully, this current administration, being responsive, picked up the gauntlet, and federal government signed a partnership with May and Baker and started biovaccines. That was a groundbreaking step forward. So what we need to start focusing on now is how to ramp up the efforts in manufacturing vaccines in country. It's not an easy process by any means. It's not something that we'll be looking at in 18 months or 24 months.
It takes a long time.
It does take a long time. But the good thing is that this current administration, the administration of my principal, is very focused on developing local solutions for local problems. So we've made a move with establishing biovaccines. We must now use this particular wake-up call to start ramping up capabilities in producing vaccines in Nigeria. And one other thing that the Chinese are doing, which I had meant to touch upon earlier on, is also identifying products, like you mentioned, phytomedicinal products and traditional products that could act as adjuncts, in treating the coronavirus ailment if one gets it. As you know, the disease particularly is devastating for elderly people or people whose immune systems are compromised.
Yes.
At NIPRID, we have a phytomedicinal product that has strong immunomodulatory activity, Niprimune, that has actually been trademarked as Niprimune. And that is something that we're now looking at pushing through the model to see how it can be used as supportive adjunct treatment in dealing with coronavirus if an individual.
Still on the vaccine development, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control was able to sequence the strain of the virus that was imported into the country. And I've been speaking, to experts on that, and they said it makes it easier for candidate vaccine trial. How do you reconcile that?
Yeah, it does. It does. The thing about this with COVID-19 is it's a novel virus. So as we speak, to be honest, not much is known about it. So every piece of research, every piece of new data, all new information that we can get about it adds to the body of knowledge. Because with this particular type of issue, knowledge is key. So with the sequencing that has been done, assuming you have 3 or 4 candidates across the world, and Nigeria is requesting for partnership in either doing a clinical trial of that vaccine, or God forbid if there is a community transmission in Nigeria, and we're requesting for support, that particular knowledge about the sequencing will enable our scientists identify which of the candidates they will prioritize in bringing in. So it's very good that Nigeria has been able to contribute to the global knowledge in sequencing.
Okay, on a final note, Dr. Adigwe, I would, as a pharmacist, I want you to give Nigerians just a bit of what they should eat to boost their immunity at this juncture.
You said pharmacist, and then you're asking me for what they should eat.
Yeah, you should know. You should know.
Well, yes, I should.
You formulate. Formulate from natural products.
Absolutely. So the key thing, let's look at this logically.
Okay.
If you have with various coronavirus, if you have a strong immune system, you have a better chance of surviving if you, God forbid,
get affected.
Okay. Yes, exercise is key. Taking foods that help to eliminate free radicals from your system. So leafy vegetables, fruits, those are fruits that are high in vitamins A, C, and E. And these things help to boost your immune system. Keeping away from smoking, keeping away from food that you know will debilitate you, fatty foods, too much alcohol. These are standard things that many people know. But the issue is, will they practice it?
I'm sure everybody, in fact, the fear of coronavirus disease is the beginning of wisdom.
Yes, I really
people
feel,
readily do what is expected of them at this stage, I'm sure.
Yeah, I really feel that the medicine security issue, as a people, we really need to wake up. A lot of people sit back and say, well, it's the responsibility of the government. It's not. It's everybody's responsibility, medicine security. When we put together this concept, it's a simple concept that argued that unless a people are able to determine how their medicines are produced and delivered, that particular population cannot guarantee sustainable access to high quality, safe and affordable medicine.
In all of this, an enabling environment, funding,
yes, those are key.
Integral.
Those are key, but also even little things. People don't know that medicines that are manufactured in Nigeria are of the highest quality. My two daughters were born in the UK, Leeds General Infirmary, to be specific. And would you believe that when I was living in the UK, I used to come back to Nigeria to buy medicines from Nigeria for my kids in the UK.
I know.
But you have people in Nigeria going to a pharmacy shop and saying things like, don't give me made in Nigeria. It boggles my mind. So even, it's not just government's responsibility. Even the ordinary man going in to say, I want made in Nigeria for this drug. Let me see. I
think it's because of the nefarious activities of fake and those who indulge in adulteration of drugs and what have you.
If you compare the percentage of made in Nigeria drugs that are fake to the percentage of drugs that come into Nigeria that are fake, the ones that come in, the percentage is higher. Wow. There's no doubt about it. So you're safer taking made in Nigeria medicines, apart from the person who goes to purchase the medicines. What about all our philanthropists? In the UK, in the developed world, in America, you have people who wake up and say, well, my father died of prostate cancer. I am going to make an endowment of $100 million to NIPRID. NIPRID, here, find me a phytomedicine that is active against prostate cancer. We don't see things like this. So it's a wake-up call for everybody. Wow. Everybody, government, philanthropists, individuals, development partners, we must start developing our own resources.
Definitely. I hope you struck a chord in the philanthropists out there watching this program.
I can give them my number straight away.
This is really a wake-up call indeed. Thank you so much, Dr. Obi Adigwe, DG NIPRID, for coming on Health Options.
Thank you, Robbie.
As we conclude this episode of Health Options, we implore you to step up personal hygiene and visit health facilities if you feel sick. You can go to our YouTube channel to watch the upload of these and other episodes of the program. Email us for your comments and contributions at healthoptions@nta.gov.ng. My name is Rabi Abdullah. Hope to see you again